Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session, information session on the MBA in Innovation and Leadership in partnership with Torrance University. I've got some amazing guests today, and what I'm going to do is quickly go through our agenda for today. We're going to give you a quick introduction into Ducere and Torrance University. We'll look at what's involved with the course and also talk a little bit about your academic experience. And then we'll look at the application deadlines and the course fees for the upcoming intake. Without further ado, we've got some amazing panelists to introduce you today as well as I go through the presentation, so we can bring in some real life experience and insights from Julie Bagley, who's one of our MBA students. I'm going to get her to introduce herself a bit later on and give her experience and also her background as well. Then I've got Dr. Jacqueline Hiddleston, a best-selling author, what we call a practical academic, and is one of our senior faculty members at Ducere and specializing in our Torrance programs. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Ducere, and I'm based in Brisbane. I'm also a MBA student, and I just completed my MBA this week, and I have the pleasure of not just working with Jackie. Jackie was one of my professors as well in the program that I did. So let's jump in. Who's Ducere? So Ducere Education is a global university group. This presentation, by the way, will be available to you. So I'm not going to read through everything that's in the presentation. What I'm going to try and do is get through as much information as I can in about 20 minutes, which will leave you about 10 minutes to ask questions from the panelists, myself, or if there are any burning questions about the program, please feel free to jump in. You can put the questions into the chat as we go along so you don't forget by the end of it. And what we'll do is once we finish the presentation, we'll get to those questions and start answering them one by one. So Ducere Education, we are a social enterprise, part of the Ducere Foundation, which is a not-for-profit delivering education programs across Africa. We're in about 32 African countries now. And one of the biggest parts of our vision is to make education accessible to everyone, not just the underprivileged or anyone who's looking at educating themselves. We want to make education accessible for everyone, and we do that by delivering the most applied industry university degrees that you can get, and also making them affordable. And how we make them affordable is by investing more money into scholarships than into advertising, which is a very novel concept for a university group. So we do that with some amazing partnerships, one of which is with the Torrance University in Australia, one of the world's largest B Corps and one of the most progressive universities out of Australia. Torrance has campuses across Australia, and it's becoming one of the fastest growing in Australia as well. So as part of this program, this is a collaboration between Torrance University and Ducere Education. What you get from this is the benefit of working and learning through Ducere's award-winning program, access to insights from about over 300 global leaders, people like Jackie, alumni like Julie, and then you still become a student of Torrance University. So your accreditation, your graduation, everything comes from Torrance, including your offer letter comes from Torrance. So you're still a student of the university. It's a university accredited MBA program, but you have the benefit and the flexibility of doing 100% online degree. That is one of the most groundbreaking degree programs that's been running for over a decade. So what's in it for you? Why would you want to do an MBA? Are they even relevant? That's a question that I get asked all the time. And the statistics are showing they are relevant, whether it was 5 years ago or right now. You have a better chance of securing a promotion or getting a better paying job by having a degree. And MBAs even increase that opportunity by even more. We find that 44% of our students either get a salary increase or a promotion before they even graduate. So I'm going to just quickly hand over to go over to Julie. And, it's always good to look at these statistics. But Julie, can you do a quick introduction to yourself? And what's your experience been like? Are these statistics stacking up?
Oh, absolutely, they are. Hello, everyone. I'm Julie, and I currently live in Perth. But when I started the MBA, I was over on the East Coast. What I love about this is the online delivery, and it's absolutely flexible around the work that you do. I work 28 hours a week currently in my role. And I have, as Don was saying, I've just recently completed all my studies. And it feels fantastic. Just as um, the lady on the screen, I was petrified of a university study. That could be me. I'd never been to university. I remember freaking out at my first assignment. But you know what? There's 100% support from Torrens University, 100% support from each of the academics. And whilst you are online, and sometimes it may feel like you're on your own, you're actually not, because the academics do run drop-in sessions, and you can get to meet your peers as well who are studying and form lifelong friendships. And you know, the amount of promotions that I've seen in the 2.5 years that I chose to take to do the course is amazing. I myself, as I say, hadn't been to uni before. I'm a business manager for a small law firm, not where my future lies, but I've developed my own consulting business that I actually started dabbling in whilst I was doing my MBA. But also, you know, the opportunities that came along with that is the fact that I've been a panelist a few times now in various capacities with Ducere, and that's something I never thought I would do. Incredibly proud of that. Also, I have to say, this is something I never thought I would say either, is that I'm a published author. That was something that
Oh
was
wow,
never going
sorry,
to
I
be on
missed
the
that.
cards. Yeah,
I need
that's
Jackie Wood, but there you go. We got two
I
publishers.
forget that. Oh, well, it's actually, I'll give you a hint. It's actually because of something I collaborated with Jackie. An invitation. It was just my story, because I had lost my husband to suicide in 2018, and I was just like, I just, what am I going to do with my life now? I was, you know, in my mid 50s, approaching my mid 50s, and I just couldn't see a future for the, you know, kind of average middle-aged white woman in Australia. There wasn't a lot of, and I thought, you know what, I've got to embrace life myself. And I love growth and development programs. And when I stumbled across this MBA, literally stumbled across it, I always thought to myself, you know, maybe I'll do some study finally. Um, and I applied for, sent off for the brochure. Somebody from Ducere rang me, and when I heard about the breakup of this program, especially with there being no exams, with it being hands-on and live industry projects that I'm sure we'll get to talk about a little bit later, um, you know, the experience is just on the court and everybody's got your back. And I thrived. It truly is the best thing I've ever done outside of having kids, but I'm obliged to say that, aren't I? They're grown up and they don't live near me now, but they're wonderful. um, it truly is a magnificent experience, and kind of wish I'd done it 20 years ago, but you know, didn't happen then. But I've got a new lease on life, and I'm incredibly excited about my future. And yeah, I don't know what more do you want me to say?
No, that's amazing, and sorry to hear about your loss, but I met Julie for the first time at a panel, and she said that
Mm.
story, and I think you couldn't hear a pin drop in the audience, and it's one of those amazing stories where you know your resilience is amazing, but the opportunity that you got from this course and what you did
Oh,
with it is what that you know that give a lot of credit to you. So
thank
yeah,
you. Mm.
that's
And I
that's
think,
what we try to achieve, right?
yeah,
As a
and sorry,
faculty.
I just wanted to add, because of the nature of the program, if you don't mind as well. I mean, I love innovation, you know, it really is the cutting edge. But what you learn, you know, really added to my personal growth and development education that I do, the leadership component of this as well really calls you forward to being just a great person. You know, it calls you forward to collaboration and wanting the best for humanity. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Oh, amazing.
Thanks.
And that's part of our vision, right? We specialize in business degrees, and we want to create the best leaders that we can. And we want to make sure that a business degree is not just a piece of paper that you get without any practical experience. So when you graduate with us, you're actually coming out on the other end with some practical experience and having the ability to say you were able to actually solve real problems and experience and a standardized level of strategic thinking. And that's one of the biggest things that you achieve with our programs. And, you know, you get the credibility and everything else that you get from an MBA with the piece of paper, but it's what's involved in the program itself. So let's jump into that. That's that's why you're here for. The whole program is made out of 12 subjects. It's very similar to any other MBA program in Australia. However, it's just the makeup of it is very different. You got 9 core subjects, and then you have 3 applied projects. These applied projects are what makes us very unique in the market, what also gives you that edge when you come out on the other end. The subjects itself, the way it's done, is also very different. You're not going and studying what an oil company or a transportation company does. If you're working in oil or transportation, it does become relevant to you. But if you're not, if you're working in, beauty and someone tells you to write about an oil company, it doesn't make sense. Like what you would normally do in
It
a
does.
MBA program. You don't have to study about what Coca-Cola did in 1986 and then write a thesis on that. You get to write about your own company, your own experiences, and then you get to apply it. So instead of me trying to explain how our programs work, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Jackie, who runs these programs every day, works with our students. Jackie, if you could be kind enough to just take us quickly through how the programs work, how the industry projects work, I'd love that. Thank you.
Okay. What you find is you have 3 modules and an industry project, and you have 3 lots of those. And what you're doing is for each subject, on average, it's around 4 to 6 hours a week on reading, and then your assignment on top. So you need to cater for sufficient hours to actually go through. And we have the live drop-ins and the like. But what you're looking at is your assignments. You can take your industry or a project or what you're doing at work, and you're talking about it from the lens of each of the modules. So you're looking at all the different angles on what you do at work or where you want to head. And for each group, you have 3 modules and an industry project. And what that industry project is a practical, real life industry, a real life organization. And you go through what's called a learner, manager, leader role. So you're layering up on that project and bringing the module learnings in as you go. And we do with people everywhere from a startup all the way through to Fortune 500 companies. So you could be on any one of those. And within those industry projects, you're actually learning how to work together as a team. So you've done your individual modules, and then you're doing the teamwork on the industry project. So you're getting that practicality as you apply through. So as you go through from the learner, manager, leader piece, you can go anywhere from rebranding through to strategy planning, through to business scoping, different angles of an organisation, what they're looking for. So you learn to deal with stakeholder management, you learn to deal with your peers. So you get all that whole hybridisation coming through. So by the end, you're producing something that's very tangible for the organisation. Now that organisation will go and actually apply it. So it's not so you're doing it theoretically, you're doing it practically. And then you go through for each of the 3 lots of modules. So by the end, you have the full understanding and you've been able to apply each one of those modules to your industry projects. So that way you're coming out with a very practical based MBA that makes you very industry ready or more improved industry ready than you already are. So try to keep it short and sweet for you, Don. Hope you're on mute.
Sorry. Thanks, Jackie. I've just been through one, and I've got to say it's one of the most amazing experiences I've had. I've got about 30 years worth of experience, and I didn't know what I was going to learn new in these programs, and that's one of the biggest questions. A lot of people that we're getting coming into these programs are people with a lot of experience, and they never know what they're going to learn. We've got in my cohort, we had everyone, people from, medical to the airline to the space industry, CEOs, sales managers, all walks of life, but everyone at the end walked away with something new that they have learned, especially through the industry projects. And also when it comes to your assignments as well, you get to tailor them, regardless of which industry you work in. One of the biggest opportunities you get is even those 9 subjects that you do, you get to tailor them to your workplace and specifically hyper focus on whatever that you're working on at your work every day, whether it's marketing and communications, whether it's business strategy. You actually get to write a business strategy for your own workplace. So these are a few examples. I'm not going to read through them. As I said before, at the start, I'll share the presentation with you, and you can read and see, how it can be hyper personalized and applied back to your work. And then the big piece of the curriculum itself, it's built with real world leaders. We've got practical academics like Jackie supporting you throughout the journey. We do have real lectures like you would in any university. However, these lectures are all delivered virtually, and you have the option of participating them live or later on coming back and watching them as a pre-recorded session. And that's the flexibility that we give you. And more importantly, the whole curriculum is built with the backing and the insights of over 300 world leaders. We've got presidents from all around the world, Julia Gillard, John Howard, regardless of which side of politics you're on. We've got insights. Every one of these individuals are experts in a field that they've been involved in. We've got directors of the CIA. We've got the founder of Atari, Goldie Hawn, who's created an amazing company around mental health assistance. So there's amazing people that will give you insights as you go through the program. These are some of the leaders that you get to talk to. The founder of Atari, Nola Bushnell, and an amazing individual. And to get the insights of people like this when you're studying your subjects, it's unrivaled to anything else that's in the market right now. And it's all brought together by the learning platform that we have built from the ground up. Canvas is the largest learning platform in university education. What we've done is build something that is designed for the learning experience that Ducere is trying to deliver. Personally, myself, I did most of my studies on my iPad. I used my Mac or my PC mainly to do my assignments. And that was a huge relief for me. And that's one of the biggest barriers for me to getting into any education program, because I needed to have that flexibility. I'm just going to jump to Julia as well. Julia, I want to get your feedback on what your experience was in the learning modality itself.
Yeah, no, just very similar to you. I loved it because it just meant I could do it anywhere. So, I would quite often have definitely the iPad, took all my notes on there. You can copy and paste in from there, but it's just so simple to navigate. Yeah, it's really user friendly and simple. What I think I loved that blended style of learning. But also the short, sharp, everything was just like a grab. So, you don't feel like you're a slave to the study. I felt because of the quality of information given to you and the resources then to go and read, I really did develop a love of exploring and researching, and I quite often would, do further reading because it was just so elegantly and so innovatively wrapped. So it grabbed my attention, and I had such a high level of engagement. And as I say, because you can pick it up on whatever device, you could sort of do it anywhere, waiting room of a dentist or whatever I found myself reading or taking notes. So yeah.
I did most while I was traveling on a plane or listening to as an audiobook. So that's one of the biggest things. And if you do want to get a quick look at the platform, please reach out to any of our enrollment advisors, and they'll be more than happy to show you how it all works and how good was the networking. And that's one of the biggest things that I experienced. I I worked with people from around the world. And for me, having an opportunity to get some insights into people that are from different walks of life, one of the biggest questions I get asked is, this being a virtual program, do you get the same type of networking experience that you would get from a physical campus-based program? I've got to say, it actually gives me even more. Like, it's a great opportunity where we're living in a post-COVID world where virtual communication has become standardized, and most of our communications are now virtually done. So this opens you up to more than just your local network. This opens you up to a network that's global. And that was one of the biggest highlights for me doing this program. And I'm sure it's the same for you as well, Julie and Jackie. You'd be seeing this, working with our student cohorts.
Yeah, you're actually seeing particularly when they get into the industry projects, you're just going from that, dealing with each other in the modules themselves, and quite often they actually set up different, because they're dealing with, students been dealing with each other over a number of modules, they get that, you're watching that click and you're watching how they work together. And quite often you see post the industry projects that they keep those networks going. And that does make a difference. So that what it's doing is it's giving you a global opportunity to help you set up your network, but also ensure you understand the different cultures, the different implications, and some really great new ideas to actually then apply, to have that curiosity to apply it to the work environment.
Amazing. Thanks, Jackie. And the entry criteria, the crux of the whole thing is, you want to know, how do I get in? How much is this going to cost me? So there are a few different pathways to our program. If you do have a bachelor's degree, it becomes quite easy. And if it's in a business related field, it becomes even easier. All you've got to do is say you've got a bachelor's, and then you get direct entry into the program. If you don't have a bachelor's, there are a couple of different ways. If you have a bachelor's in a non-business field, you can still get in by showing 3 years of professional experience. But if you don't have a bachelor's and you have finished year 12, the option is to demonstrate 7 years of professional experience. So that is a little bit more involved. So make sure you reach out to one of our enrollment advisors and work with them. The next intake is in October. So if you're getting in through pathway C, it might take a bit more time to make sure we've got the right documentation and the proof. So just start talking to our enrollment advisors now, and they'll be able to guide you through that. For us, it's about assisting you as best as we can to get you into the program and making sure that you're getting a good experience. So make sure you talk to an enrollment advisor. They'll be able to assist you with this. In terms of the costs, we do have very limited amount of scholarship spots still available. It's our last intake for the year. As with every year, the last intake becomes the one where, we've already given away majority of our scholarships. So it's a first come, first serve scenario. It's quite a significant saving. As I said before, you don't have to jump hoops like you would with a normal university program. We've got what we call a global ambassador scholarship program. So instead of us spending millions of dollars in advertising, and that's not a made up number, the average spend by university is about 1.5 million in Australia. We put majority of our money into the scholarships, which gives you, if you can get into one of our scholarships, you save about $17,000, and that's a significant saving in your program. So another big benefit is doing an Australian program is you don't have to fork out the money straight up front. So you do have the government fee help access. If you're an Australian citizen, you can apply. It's a simple process. Once you've done your application, Torrens will send you your offer. And with that, then you have the opportunity to apply for fee help. Fee help is still a loan. There's no such thing as free money. However, it's a much better option than getting a bank loan or high interest rate loan. Also, another big benefit is if you're not working and if you're not earning less than $50,000, again, we're not financial advisors. You'll need to talk to your own accountants to get your own financial advice. you do not have to start paying back until you've reached a certain threshold. Also, the way the program is designed, most of the study that you're doing are directly related to your work. So you might want to talk to your accountant to see how that works in terms of a tax rebate as well. So there's a lot of financial benefits and help in funding for the program. So talk to your enrollment advisor. They're the best people who can chat to you and advise you in the right direction. So just summarizing, the program itself is designed to create business plans and strategies around your own work that you're doing. And if you're not working and looking at starting a new business, this becomes a amazing opportunity for you to build that blueprint you want to build for the next 5 years. You get to collaborate with some world-class academics, companies, and alumni, and as well as students that you're going to work with. And you get to work with some of the best practice tools and techniques in the world. So
why did you decide to join MBA?
Right, thanks, Jackie. Well, pre-COVID, I was working as a communications consultant, so I worked on a lot of projects, and I was starting to feel like, oh, I'm not growing as much as I would like to, and I've always had an entrepreneurial itch. I felt I wasn't confident enough.
I won't play the whole video, but as I said, I'll share the presentation with you. You've got insights from a couple of our students that you can take with me. And if you want to speak to a student one-on-one, please reach out to your enrollment advisor, and we'll be more than happy to get you in touch with one of our alumni or current students, where you can ask them questions directly as well. As I said before, we are part of a not-for-profit foundation that we run across Africa. All the money that you invest in Ducere goes into that education project. So that's it from me. Are you ready to become an MBA candidate? Do you have any questions? Please feel free to shoot through. I'll quickly stop sharing this and go into
There's 2 questions.
the questions. Sorry, I was...
Sharing makes it a bit hard.
There you go. Okay, so the first one is how much one-on-one training is there? So Jackie, I think you can answer that question from the academic side.
Okay. What we do is we have your reading and doing your online, so you have the commitment that you need to go through that learning. We also have weekly drop-in sessions, so it's an hour every week that you can actually drop in, ask any questions, discuss any aspect. If there's a requirement for a particular student that needs some additional support, we do try and work with the student wherever we possibly can. And then on top of that, we have things such as webinars and lectures and that go through, and all those are actually also recorded. So then they can be in your announcement area to be able to watch if you can't attend live. The drop-in sessions I don't tend to record unless it's something that could be material that which will be of use for all students. So that gives you that bit of independence on that drop-in session each week. I'm there, I might be marking while I'm waiting, and if somebody just wants to drop in and ask a question, please, by all means do. Or it could be a whole discussion session going on. So it does vary by different modules and different universities. I'm hoping that actually answered that question.
Yeah, and I think it's as much as you need it, right? So our whole objective is to make sure a student gets the best support that they can get. So as you need it, and I've heard from many students, our academics are always there to support you. And also you got these unique drop-in sessions where you get to ask your own questions and then learn from the questions from other students as well. So just going to jump on to the next one. Mark's asked, what is the rate for Indigenous Australians? Great question, Mark. I would advise if you could get in touch with your enrollment advisor, they'll be able to assist you with that. So we do have Indigenous scholarships. We have Women in Leadership scholarships, Developing Nation scholarships. So being a social enterprise, that's one of our big initiatives. As I said before, our whole objective is to make sure that education is accessible, regardless race, color of you, or your genetic makeup. So reach out to enrollment advisor, and definitely they'll be able to help you with that. if you got any questions, please feel free to shoot through. But I'm gonna ask a couple of questions from Jackie and Julie while I'm waiting to see if there's any questions that come through. One of the most common questions that I get asked is how much time per week is required for this program, and I keep getting different answers. So I'm going to go to Julie first. So Julie, can I, from your personal experience, could you please tell the audience, how much time have you had to invest, and what's the difference between a standard MBA program and what you would do, what you did here?
Sure. I'm not sure that I can answer the last part of the
Maybe
question. So, so I'll hand that one back over to you afterwards. But where I'm concerned, as I say, I work 28 hours a week, but I also do some other growth and development programs where I gave some time to that too. So the most important aspect, I would say, is it's approximately 15 to 20 hours, but some weeks, if your schedule is full, because you're very much in control of your own schedule, the most important thing is scheduling and keeping to it and keeping your word. It's an MBA program. It's not a walk in the park. If you put the time in, then you'll get great results. So it's certainly flexible around your workday. For instance, when I was over East, I would get up at maybe 6:30 in the morning and do maybe an hour and a half before I started work. Then I would do my normal 7.5 hour day. And then I would have a little break and I'd do maybe 2 or 3 hours at night. Other times I would have a bit of a relax in the week, but then I would do all weekend. There's complete flexibility. From the outset of each module when your assignments are due, the lengths of those assignments and the parameters. You're given plenty of information, but ultimately it is up to you. But it does take some work. So that's what I would say about that one.
No, I
Thanks.
agree with you. What I could say is a standard MBA program is about 35 hours, and that's mainly because you're doing the job that you do every day, and what you're studying is normally separated, because most of the capstone projects or projects that are more hypothetical, theoretical, doesn't really apply back to your job that you do, because what you do with this program is directly related to your job. The amount of time that you have to invest is drastically reduced. So even when you said 10 to 20 hours, that's still saving 15 hours that you would do, and even that 10 to 20 hours, what I found was, right, when I was writing the business strategy, I was actually writing a business strategy for Ducere. So that made it like that 15 hours that I would have spent that anyway. So it's very different way of looking at a education program, saying no. Correct. Very practical. And when we say practical, we genuinely mean the practicality and the application of the program. So you've got to really look at it. I said to someone the other day, it was about 15 hours, but if I take out what I would have done at work anyway for this, it's probably 5 hours a week. So I'm not going to quote that as how much you would need. You still have to do, as you said before, it is an MBA. You still have to put a fair bit of work in. You have to do your reading, but it's a very different way of looking at education.
And dare I say, it's fun. I think because you've got that personal element in, regardless of what your background is. I came into this because I wanted to be a business consultant, want the rest of my life to look different. And so my business strategy was about setting up my business. But the other modules are definitely related as well to the work that I currently do in the legal profession and leadership and innovation in that. So it really is tailored to you as an individual, as long as you realize it's not gonna you're not gonna get handed it on a plate.
Correct.
You've got to work
Thanks,
for it.
Julie.
And be curious. That's the thing. It's the aim is trying to get that curiosity, because you will then get this yearn to want to learn more and understand. And then you have a lot of the readings and all the links are there for the readings. But the aim is that you start reading wider. You're saying, okay, what else do I need to understand for my specific situation? And that's where your difference in the readings come in. So be curious, makes it worthwhile.
Amazing. No, thanks both for the insights. And I think we're 7 minutes over, but we've covered some really good ground. So, Jackie, I'm just going to hand it over to you. Do you have anything else to say that you want to say to the potential students that are looking at joining us?
Just enjoy it. Give it a go. What you find is that you get out what you put in. And as Julie said, she had a particular strand she was going for, and she's actually learnt and built on that. And if I say, when I first met Julie about what's your first subject, it was deer in headlights going, is this what I should be doing? You know, and just watching her by the end of the final industry project, that confidence and that ability and know where she wants to be and where she wants to head, it makes such a difference. And even seeing the change in Don over the years, or the last 12 months as well. It's quite notable how students actually grow and get that confidence. They don't get cocky, they get confidence. They get that innate curiosity to go, well, what else do I do with this? How do I make it apply for me and my business environment? So it's certainly well worth it. And they get
I think
there to help you.
that's a big thing, right? The cockiness actually gets hammered out of you. You become confident.
yeah.
You become more you become more humble because you're working with people that are probably at the same standard or even at a higher standard. So you realize that you're just and you become at the other end better at articulating things, better at presenting things, better at how you execute things. One thing that I want to say before we finish is it took me 3 years to finally bite the bullet and say, I'm going to do my MBA. And I'm so glad I did it. I just want to say to people who are looking at doing this and haven't made up their mind yet, there's never going to be a right time. There's never going to be a time that you're not going to be less busy than you are right now. So if you want to do it, you got to get the best time to get started is now, because if you wait till next month, next year, it's going to take you another year to finish or another 2 years to finish. So that's the best advice I can give from a personal perspective. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made to finally go in there and do it. And now that I'm on the other end, have completed it, I'm not going to do any studies for a little bit, but I'll get back into it. But
A month or
I'm
two.
glad I did. I know. So I do want to do that's the other thing as well. It actually opens other doors and opens your perspective of what you want to do with education. So I do want to pursue either a PhD or a doctorate after this. So that's something that I didn't even think
Talk to
about
me.
before I started. I will talk to you, Jackie. So so talk to your enrollment advisors. Most of the people that work within the business are well qualified to give you the advice and have personal experience. And as I said, we are more than happy to get you in touch with any of our academics or any of our alumni or students. So thank you for your time again. And thanks, Julie and Jackie, for joining us today. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email through and we'll answer them as best as we can. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Just say yes.
Yeah, same here.